Hi there. I don't know if you can see this, but this is a little painting that someone did for me of a duck rabbit. It's an ambiguous figure, as you can probably see. So it's a little rabbit, look. See the little rabbit, look? And there's his ears, and there's his eye, and his little nose. But it's also a duck. See, there's the duck's bill, and there's the duck's eye looking that way now. Yeah? Duck, rabbit, duck, rabbit, duck, rabbit. I really like this. I like duck rabbit symbols for all kinds of reasons. Partly because I've worked a lot in some of my videos with ducks and rabbits, or birds and rabbits, because of the useful kind of symbolism of those creatures, one of which lives above the world, or seems to, can fly, at least a bird, can't it? And rabbits live underneath the ground, so I don't know, I just like those. Anyway, that's not what I'm thinking about right now. I'm thinking about the duck rabbit symbol. And ambivalent figures more generally, because this is a really clear ambivalent figure. I think, it's very easy for me to see both the duck and the rabbit in there, and I'm guessing you can see them both as well. Not simultaneously, because I think it's pretty much impossible to see them simultaneously. But I'm guessing you can toggle between seeing one or the other really quickly. Some of them aren't quite so good as that. A lot of the ones that you see, you kind of have to be told what to see. I don't know if you come across those. There's a famous ambivalent figure, I don't have an example of it here, of what appears to be a young lady looking over her shoulder like this. And if you look at it another way, it's an old lady with quite a jutty kind of profile. And the first time I saw that one, I had to have my attention drawn to what it was. You know what I mean? It didn't just naturally snap to either of these two positions. Someone had to say, look, see, this is where her shoulder is, this is the thicker collar around her neck, you see that? And eventually it would kind of pop out. But again, it's once you've got it, you can usually, by an effort of conscious will, toggle between the two impressions that you're getting from the ambivalent figure. So I've just been thinking about that, and I'm thinking, what would it be like if you had I've never seen one of these, they may even exist. What would it be like if you could get an ambivalent figure like this, but instead of there being two possible positions, duck, rabbit, you could do several, so it could be duck, rabbit, frog, duck, rabbit, frog, duck, rabbit, frog, wardrobe, duck, rabbit, frog, wardrobe, Kenneth Clark, Ken Clark, wardrobe, frog, rabbit, duck, and not even just 5, but it could be 15 or 20 or 100, and just you wouldn't have to turn it around like this, but just by an effort of shifted attention, you can toggle between all these different kind of impressions, a bit like you can with the flames or with clouds or wallpaper. But instead of it being completely accidental like that and a bit arbitrary, there's lots of information is actually in there. It's just how you shape it in your head, and these things just form. I mean, ideally, it'd be nice if there wasn't just 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 images. There was thousands and thousands of images in that one drawing there, that one painting, that one image. Thousands and thousands of different figures, and the image was in a state of constant ambivalence that you could, just by drawing your attention differently to it, you could see these different things. And there wouldn't be one recognisable, there wouldn't be one single kind of authorised one. No one could come along and say, yes, you can see all these things, but it's really a duck or it's really a rabbit. No one could come along and say that, because there genuinely are thousands. It's supposed to be like that, and it changes. I mean, to the extent that it's got an image visible at all, it changes according to the impact of your thought upon it. Impact of your thought, in the way that I think I was just watching a video from Matt, and he was talking about that kind of quantum thing to do with if you see something, it's the equivalent of touching something. Simply, well, there's an equivalence anyway, because light has that effect on certain scales of operation. But in this case, it wouldn't be even the touch of light that changes it. It would just be the touch of thought. The touch of thought upon the ambivalent image. In the way that the touch of the thought in this image now, the touch of your thought, whether you're thinking rabbit, duck, yeah? The touch of your thought is making the image different. So imagine every single possible image in there, and the touch of your thought would bring every single image out of there. Wouldn't that be brilliant? I'd love that. Rabbit, duck, frog, wardrobe, Ken Clark. That'd be brilliant. I'd love that. I mean, some things are like that, not exactly like that, but some artworks are like that. I think some really good artworks do that. They may not bring everything out there, but there's this beautiful kind of coruscating collage of ideas come out there if the image is poised just right, or the action, or whatever form the artwork takes. And some writing is like that, some poetry is like that, isn't it? That yeah, you can take an authorised reading from it, you can say, oh, that means that. But in other ways, it's much more like I was going to say it's like a Rorschach blot, you know, those things that they use in psychology. But I don't mean that really, because Rorschach blots just say something about you. There isn't anything there, but there genuinely is something there. In fact, there's lots of things there. So it's a highly compact, compressed image, or if it was a piece of writing like a poem, it's a highly compact, compressed, ambivalent writing, deliberately ambivalent, so that it responds to the touch of your reading. And how you read it just brings out these things. A beautiful writing should do that. The Bible, sorry to bring up the Bible, can't help it. I think the Bible does that. Because I was watching a video, there's some guy talking to some other guy. He was a biblical scholar, one of the guys. That was a really interesting, open-minded, tolerant biblical scholar, recognised it as poetry. And he was talking to somebody like Cy ten Bruggencare. It might even have been him and Eric Hovind, I think, who were very much like the Bible as the authorised word of God, but somehow I know exactly what he meant. And the real scholar who'd read this stuff in the original Coptic and what have you, was saying, well, it's not like that. It's much more like a piece of modern art, is how he described it. A piece of modern art that you look at it, and it's deliberately designed to be perfectly poised piece of ambivalence writing. And the depth of it, and the complexity and the richness of it isn't simply in the capacity to tell a good story. It's in the fact that it opens out into a good story. And yes, it says something about you in the way that Rorschach blots do, but it also says something about the world and people in our lives and wisdom and human decency and all those kind of things. You know what I mean? Not one authorised reading, not a duck, not a rabbit, not Ken Clark, not a wardrobe, not a frog, but all of those things and more besides. So yeah, ultimate ambivalent images that change under the impact of thought. That's what I'd like to make.